If we increase the bulk density of the soil, another way of referring to that is to say that we are compacting the soil. So within a given textural class of soil, if that soil comes up with a bulk density value higher than what we'd expect it to be, we should expect that that soil has undergone compaction. Compacting a soil is basically breaking down the aggregates, squeezing the airspace out of it, putting a larger proportion of solids to the total volume of the soil. That is not something that we desire to do. Compacted soils do not grow healthy plants. They restrict water intake, which causes an increased amount of runoff and probably resulting in erosion. And compacted soils, being poorly aerated, not only restrict the growth of the roots, but they also have a counter-opposing effect or a detrimental effect upon the level of microorganism activity in the soil. Remember, these microorganisms are living organisms that we are depending upon to break down organic material, to cycle nutrients to plants, and if they don't have adequate oxygen or aeration, their activity is also restricted. So soil compaction, which is represented by an increase in the bulk density of a soil, is not something that is desirable. It's something that we would try to avoid or prevent from happening. Another example of where an increase in bulk density would occur in a soil profile could be at the surface. Now, we don't expect compaction to occur at the surface of the soil as much as we would at depths down below the surface. But one example of an increase in bulk density would be if we had the formation of a crust or a platy type structure occurring on the surface of the soil. So soil crusting at the surface of the soil, it represents a compaction zone. If you want to think of it that way, it represents an increase in the bulk density of that particular soil. In addition to bulk density, another type of density which is in the soil that can be measured is called the particle density. Now, if the bulk density represents the density of the whole volume of soil, what then would particle density represent? Particle density represents only the density of the solid portion of the soil. In other words, what is the density of the solids, the mineral matter and organic matter that occurs in the soil? Well, obviously the particle density of a soil would be a value higher than would be the bulk density. And for the purpose of particle density, we use an average value. In other words, we're going to consider this to be a constant, and that number is represented by 2.65 grams per cubic centimeter. So you can see that the value for particle density, 2.65 grams per cc, is a much higher number than even our more coarse textured soils, which are represented by 1.5 to 1.7 grams per cc. So particle density, we're going to consider this to be a constant of 2.65 grams per cc. How do bulk density and particle density relate to each other?